From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is Brief News Brief. President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has agreed to meet with the Senate Intelligence Committee, which is looking into Russia's involvement in last year's election. I know, you're hearing that a lot. Jared Kushner, a little 36-year-old baby, needs to answer some pretty serious questions. Questions about why he's been meeting with Sergei Gorkov. Now, who is Sergei Gorkov, you might be asking, and why the fuck do I care? Well, Sergei Gorkov is a literal graduate of Russian spy school. That's right, it's a real thing, Russian spy school. You know, they got the KGB and they got to fill it up with some talent. They get that talent from the Hogwarts of Russian spy schools, okay? They teach you everything you need to know about being a spy for the Russians. But after graduating, he didn't end up going into the KGB. Instead, he became the deputy chairman of the biggest run government bank in Russia, Sperm Bank. Gorkov ran Sperm Bank until just last year. Sperm Bank's in trouble in the U.S. I don't know if you're familiar, but the U.S. brought some criminal charges against Sperm Bank for attempting to destroy an industry in Russia and basically creating a monopoly to hand, and only at the end, to hand it over to one of Putin's friends. Well, Sperm Bank has now hired one of Donald Trump's personal lawyers to help defend them against these criminal charges. Isn't it convenient when you got friends like Donald Trump's lawyer? I don't know how that happens. So wait, James, I'm confused. What does Jared Kushner have to do with this Sperm Bank thing? I need to know. Was he depositing or withdrawing? Well, in 2014, in July 2014, Obama announced a new round of sanctions against Russia over its occupation of Crimea. These sanctions targeted a Russian development bank called VEB. VEB is a Russian government-run bank. A lot of them are run by Russians there, okay? This particular bank is filled with members of the Russian government. Basically, it's a slush fund for corrupt government officials. It went into considerable debt after the 2014 Olympics in combination with the U.S. sanctions. The bank has not been able to recover. Last year, the bank had to be bailed out by the government because it was too big to fail. And how was anybody supposed to know having the Olympics was going to be complicated? Now, the man that followed the CEO that was fired after this whole debacle, that man was replaced by Sergei Gorkov, the same Sergei that met with Kushner. Dun, dun, dun. Crazy enough, right? Well, actually, it's just on par with the craziness these days. In 2015, this is a little sidestep here, there was a Russian spy arrested in a New York market, a supermarket at that. And that person that was arrested, that spy, worked at Sergei Gorkov's bank, VEB. In March 2016, he pled guilty to stealing information about U.S. sanctions against Russia. So that guy has spies over here in the U.S. that have been arrested and charged. Now, the Trump administration claims that since Jared is being honest about meeting with Sergei, there's no scandal there. I mean, why would an honest person come forward and offer to talk to people, you know? But really, him coming forward and saying that he's talked with Sergei and had meetings has really brought more questions up than it was answering. We didn't even have questions before he brought it up. Currently, there is no credible reason as to why Jared was meeting with Sergei, unless he was looking to get some connections with some sperm bank deposits and or withdrawals. Maybe he's having sperm bank withdrawals. I did see Jared get the shakes. Oh, I need some sperm bank. Buckle up for the briefest brief news brief this side of the Mississippi River. Sean Spicer further pushed back on claims that the Trump administration tried to block Sally Yates from testifying before the House Intelligence Committee on Russian meddling in the U.S. election of 2016. The hearing that Yates was scheduled to testify in last week was canceled. A lockdown at the White House has been lifted since a man threw a suspicious package over the fence calling it a bomb. It turned out that it was not a bomb, it was the bomb. It was just a present for Trump because he's a big fan. In Michigan, a judge is holding a hearing on a plan to replace water lines at 18,000 homes in Flint, where lead has poisoned the water system. The project would be paid for by the state in lawsuits that could cost up to $100 million. President Trump signed an executive order today to dismantle Obama-era climate policies. Among the initiatives now rescinded is the Clean Power Plan, which required states to slash carbon emissions. Before he signed the order, the president said this would put an end to the war on coal and job-killing regulations. Carlos the Jackal, one of the world's most wanted criminals, is going back to jail for his third life sentence. He was arrested in France for a grenade he threw 42 years ago that killed 2 people. I don't think he cares that much because at this point, 3 life sentences deep, he believes himself to be a man-cat, and he's going for the full 9. Well, Brief News Brief was off for a couple weeks. Some of the news pipes got blocked up, and we're going to clear them out. A lawmaker in Texas recently introduced state legislation that would effectively make it unlawful for men to have emissions outside of a woman's vagina, or created outside of a health or medical facility. Any breach of such guidelines would result in a $100 fine. Jessica Farrar, a member of the Texas House of Representatives, submitted this bill just 3 weeks ago. And this is a quote from her. "It got me thinking, maybe what's good for the goose is good for the gander," Miss Farrar told the BBC. "If we're taking these measures because of the sanctity of life, well, we just can't waste any seed. Guess the men of Texas will just have to learn the art of edging because every sperm is sacred." Today we're trying something new, all right? We want to know how you feel about the Trump administration rolling back Obama-era climate change policies and how this affects you and your life. We want to hear from you, okay? So go to Facebook, go to our Facebook page. Yeah, it's a ruse. Just do it. Don't question it. Go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Brief News Brief, all right? Because we're going to listen to your comments, and then we're going to share some of our very favorite comments next Tuesday, because this is going to be a Tuesday segment. On Thursday, we're going to be revisiting the polls for Poll Tally time. Thanks for tuning in.